Hi everyone, and welcome to the second week of this online workshop. I have many things to tell you this week in this video. So just first of all, thank you for all of your work from Module 1. We'll go directly to Module 2, and you'll see at the end two possibilities for virtual meetings where you can ask any questions you might have. So until that meeting, I will read everything that you've posted in Module 1 and comment and perhaps give you like summaries of what or some information from that. So these virtual meetings are not mandatory. You choose either one of them that suits your time zone, actually. So in order to access it, you just have to click on the link here at the bottom of Module 2. When you click here, you'll see at when it's going to start, you'll see there will be a button to click here to join, and then you have to authorize your mic and also audio and mic and also your video in order for me to be able to see you. So if you click here like sooner than that time, you just have to refresh your page and then the button will appear. So to know at what time it is, the options are, I have put links to a time zone converter. So for me, let's say on August 13, Friday at 10 p.m., I have a meeting scheduled. So if you click here, this would be my time. I'm not living in Montreal, but close to Montreal. And then you had your city. So let's say you would be in China. Then you would have like, you just put your city or country, and then you see at what time the meeting would be for you. So this would be at 10 a.m. So this is for the first one. And then the second option here that you have, for me, it's like 10 hours later. So for me, it's at 8 a.m. on Saturday. Once again, I've put in another link, which is already set up with my time. And then if you would see, well, you see in China, there's exactly 12-hour difference. So it would be at 8 p.m. for that option. So they have the options of either going on Saturday at 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. if you'd be in China and so on. So you just have to verify at what time it would suit you if you have any questions. And I will continue to publish like answers from now until Friday on the first module. But you might also ask questions about what we are doing now in Module 2 at that meeting. So that being said, let's go to the learning engagement activities. But perhaps just to give you an overview, you'll see that we are going in the fourth learning engagement activity to try to think about a summative task, but we are going to give more details to it, like in Module 3. Same thing when we are going to build a statement of inquiry in the third learning engagement activity. Then in Module 4, we are going to give more details, including how we would teach it in class. So it's a process that we have to follow. So there are many documents. Let's go to the, of course, I suggest you go through the module notes. There are some information there which are really important. And then you click on the learning engagement activity. And then on my post, once again, where I give more details, for example, the pages. So the first learning engagement activity is pretty much fun. Just try to find an image which represents either a skill, a topic, or a concept. So I have given you references. So there are mathematics topics and skills in the mathematics guide, pages 22 to 29. If I go to it, you'll see that on first page 22, there are 4 branches of mathematics. We are going to go back to it in Module 3 with the criterion A. And then there's a list, but the topics and skills are examples of what they can study. It doesn't mean that you have to do everything. Unless you are doing the e-assessment. If at the end of the MYP program, the students do the IB online exam of mathematics, whether that be because there are two like programs, which is either the standard mathematics and the extended mathematics. So these are used for the exam, online exam, which are not mandatory. So just can check if your school are doing that. And the year where the topics are covered, it's really a suggestion because you can really could say that you would see, for instance, the standard form in year 2, for instance. Okay, so it's not binding. You can choose when you do it. It's just that if you do the IB online exam, then at the end of the 5th year, all of the topics and skills should have been covered, unless that doesn't include the enrichment, of course. It just sets like the framework for the exams. Okay, so this is the information first that we have. So the second possibility here is the ATL skills, which are the approaches to learning skills, where you can find them from pages 107 to 114 from the MYP from Principles into Practice Guide, which is like the basic guide. So here I am going to go to page 107. You will see that there are skills like communication skills, collaboration skills, thinking skills, organization skills. So there are categories and so on. So you can use any of these also to do the first learning engagement activity. We'll go back to that later on during the workshop. You can also choose a concept. I suggest a mathematical concept, which are like in pages 17, 18, and 52 of the mathematics guide, but I have put screenshots of that in one document, which is here. So you can have all of these concepts which are associated with mathematics, like the key concepts. But all of these other concepts are key concepts for all of the subjects, but we have 3 like specifically for mathematics that we have to cover eventually, and also the related concepts. So all of that being said, just have to find an image and try to really like for fun. The idea being to like get information through that, and going to make some readings. So let's go to the second learning engagement activity, building the conceptual understanding, which is a step to go to the statement of inquiry. Actually, it's not mandatory to have a conceptual understanding in the unit plan, but it is a way that you can like see where we are going at. So you have to choose, I just showed you the document, 1 key concept, 1 or 2 related concepts, and to build like a sentence which links them, without stating the mathematics content. For now, just trying to make sense out of it. You will have examples. I have here an image which I can show you from the module notes. Is really like choosing 1 key concept, 1 or 2 related concept, and building a sentence which would be the conceptual understanding. So we can have examples there. We'll go to the third learning engagement activity, which is the statement of inquiry forum. To build a statement of inquiry, we have to add something else, which is the global context exploration. So there are 6 global contexts from pages 58 to 62 of the MYP from principle into practice. So let's go back to page 58. So these are the 6 global contexts, but we don't want to choose only the global context. We want to choose the global context exploration, which is in the last column. So for instance, for the global context identities and relationship, we might study something and take into account to put our mathematics in context in real life. We can study like health and well-being. Perhaps lifestyle choices, doing a statistical study, for instance, and trying to see like the impact of playing video games, let's say at night for students. So you can choose an exploration. When you see, this would be enough like for an exploration. Also, sometimes we like combine 2 ideas. So if I would go, let's say for globalization sustainability, this would be an exploration, human impact of the environment, of course. But we could talk about consumption and also about commercialization or markets. Like together we can build like our own exploration. But there's pretty much like something for any subject here. So just have to take a look at these and to choose 1 global context exploration. The global context in itself is not stated in the statement of inquiry. It's only the exploration the global context is implicit. So I've put you here a slide just to understand that the key concept and related concepts builds a conceptual understanding, but when we add the global context exploration, it gives you a sentence, which is the statement of inquiry. So it's like a puzzle that you are doing. So there are many possibilities. The idea is to try to choose a subject once again. And if ever at some point during the workshop you decide to change like your topic or global context exploration, you can. Okay, of course, the idea being of building your own unit plan. So let's go to the next learning. And once again, perhaps one thing I haven't said is that we don't put the mathematical content unless it is explicit already, because it's part of, let's say, the global context exploration. But else, we don't add mathematical topics and skills because we want to foster interdisciplinary teaching and learning. So we would like other teachers from other subjects to read our statement of inquiry and to tell themselves that it is like interesting. They want to study like the same thing as you do, and then you can develop an interdisciplinary project or activity. In the fourth learning engagement activity, you see that we are trying to build an authentic summative task here. So the goal here would be like the statement of inquiry that you've done just before, and then you give a role to the student, which is not a student. Perhaps you are like what you can be. So depending on the thing, you can be a statistics. Someone who does statistics or whatever else, and you have an audience. Perhaps you are your product, what you are doing is addressed, let's say, to other students, or it might be tagged to someone else. So you have to put it in context in order for the students to feel that they have a role as it would be in real life, and they are addressing a real audience. And then you explain the situation and think about what will be the outcome of all of that, what product, what the students have to end in at the end. The last S we don't do for now is linking that to the criterion A, B, C, or D, and the strands that you are going to be assessing. So this is an activity from Module 3, so don't do it right away. Okay, so once again, we have examples here. Let's go to the last one, which is learning engagement activity 5. So there's a reflection forum. You just have to describe the relationship between the task and the statement of inquiry. If you go after that, there is a folder with 3 documents to build your unit plan. It's not mandatory at that point, but you'll eventually have to fill up that unit planner, which is blank. And these other 2 documents is to give you like cues on what to write. So the unit planner is like this. So of course you can fill in the top, but here the key concepts, the related concepts, the global context and global context exploration, and the statement of inquiry, including the conceptual understanding and the statement of inquiry, are all things that we're doing in Module 2. We don't do that part here with the inquiry questions. This will go in Module 4. And then here, where it's written summative assessment, this actually would be the GRASP model for now without the S, of course, and the relationship between the summative task and the statement of inquiry would go here. So you see that we are doing like these 2 rectangles and also this part on top. So you can do it already if you want. The other 2 documents, let's say the evaluating unit plan, will give you like hints on what would be a really good like unit plan. So eventually you'll try to go to the sharing level. So you see here statements of inquiry, what it means, what should be there in order to be like really good. And then you can go also to the summative assessment. This is the sections that we have been doing now. And there are also like information here in that in that other document. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you perhaps on Friday or Saturday. So have a nice week.